All right, welcome to Rev Up. I am Thomas. I am one of the BICs at Realty One Group Revolution. I'm also your instructor for this Rev Up course that we're calling Module 3, Building Your Database. So, building your database, what does that mean? Well, here are some learning objectives we're going to go over this morning. The first is why your database is the foundation of your business. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about that. I think it's very important. We're going to talk about the 4 irrefutable laws of managing your database. We're going to talk about using the circles of opportunities to build your database. We're going to talk about how to get predictable business from your database and how to utilize a client relationship manager. We're going to mention that. We're not going to go in the mechanics of the CRM in this lesson. Then we're going to talk about why it's important to have an online presence and how to create and maintain your online presence. All right. So as I tell everybody, Rev Up is designed to be an introduction to the content. It's not exhaustive by any means. It's actually information that you need to start work on your real estate business. So we use Rev Up as an initial teaching or course, and also as a refresher for agents to come back and just kind of get reminded of what we need to be doing in our business. So that brings us to the affirmation slide. So here is where I need your input to take yourself off mute. If you can't read it, I'm going to read the affirmation slide, and then I would like for us to all say it together. And the reason we do this is because we can think, we're the agent that's going to dominate our marketplace. But until we start saying it to ourselves, until we verbalize it, our brain really doesn't take it in. So the affirmation this morning says I am happy, positive, and have a can-do, solutions-oriented attitude. So if you don't mind, on 3, just say this with me. So 1, 2, 3. I am happy, positive, and have a can-do, solution-oriented attitude. All right, thanks. All right, thanks for indulging me. But take a screenshot of this, write it down, whatever you need to do. And I think we have affirmations for about every lesson. There are 12. So just take these, save them in your phone, and flip through them every day. This is a good reminder of what we need to be doing in our business. Now, moving on to the importance of a database. So I'm going to call it a database. You can call it what you want to, database / sphere of influence. Database is your moneymaker. So whatever you're calling it, the CRM holds your database or your data, but however you want to refer to it, that's up to you. So, but what I need you to know is that your database is the core value of your business. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are 2 areas. Number 1, your database is that thing which generates a steady stream of income or leads, okay? Leads, business that turns into income. So without that pipeline, we don't have a business. So we have to start from scratch. We have to start from the very foundational aspect of sales, and that is having people to call, to talk to. So thus, that's why we need a database. The second reason why it's the core value is it becomes 3 things. The database becomes your asset, that thing, again, your moneymaker. It becomes your legacy. It can be that thing that points to you as the market leader in your area. And it's something we can pass down to our family, our kids, or another agent, a business partner. And your exit strategy. I mean, if you have a database, you have an exit strategy. Without a database, you have nothing. So you have to have something to hand off, sell, or trade. And that database um, that's driving you business will give you that. All right. So what can a database deliver? And give me just a second. Let me catch up with my notes here. All right. So number one, your database can deliver a solid referral-based business. So how does it do that? We're going to talk about that a little bit, but once your database is established and properly seasoned, you can count or expect on about 70 to 80% of your business to come from repeat and referral customers for the life of your career. That's really important. If we manage our database correctly, we are predicting future business. We are going to get our business out of this pipeline. It's how well we, when I say manage, it's how well we touch, deliver value to the relationships that are in our database. In some cases, agents, there are some agents that I know that only do repeat and referral business. That's 100% of their business, and they have great business. You can rely on your database to produce revenue for you consistently year in and year out if you maintain it properly. So what I want you to know, though, is it can take 6 to 12 months to consistently build connections to turn into business in your database. So remember, it's a solid referral-based business. That's something you can sell, trade, cash in, should you choose to leave real estate. It gives you a consistent and reliable revenue. You know what? When we don't lead generate every day, we end up having a business that looks like it looks like a rope with knots in it along the way. So one month we might have one closing, the next month we might have nothing. 2 months later we have 3 closings. That's not the way you want to do business. You want to have consistent transactions and closings every month. And because it takes 6 to 12 months to season or to warm up a contact, that means we need to be touching them multiple times, right? And multiple people multiple times. So as just one person, how do you do that? Well, yeah, you can get an assistant, but you can leverage technology to help you talk to many people over a period of time. So plan your work, work your plan. What does that mean? I want you to think about how many connections you have. Just right now, take a few seconds. What are those connections that you have? What type of connections do you have? How often are you making those connections? And what will those connections cost you, which is really key when we're talking about growing our real estate business. So, for example, we recommend a 30 to 40 connection plan over a year to be an effective plan for building your database. So it could consist of the following types of connections. It could be a direct mail, email, text messages, personal calls or visits. It could be through social media. It could be whatever you want it to be, door knocking. And by the way, I always tell agents, make sure that you lead generate, make sure that you look for prospects out of your gifting, out of your talents, out of your skill set. Yes, you can create a new skill set, which takes time, but why not go with what, makes you happy? The things that you do day in and day out, use that to build your real estate business. If you're the mom who's taking the kids to sports, games practice all afternoon long, use that time to lead generate. Now, don't go and beat people over the head, tell them you're a real estate agent. Build the connections, talk to people, get to know them, let them know who you are, let them see the value that you can bring them. And that's really those types of people that are willing to get out and mingle with other people. Those are the ones that build their business fast. So some of the types of campaigns that we can use, I talked about leveraging technology. You can do printed newsletters. There are multiple businesses that will do that for you. You can do monthly market updates right from your OneSuite CRM, or you can, pay a third-party service. You could do quarterly personal contacts, which could be, visits, pop-bys, texts, whatever you want to call them. How about that birthday card once a year? That's a no-brainer. Everybody loves to be recognized on their birthday. Send them a birthday card, once a year. How about for a holiday? Or pick a holiday that is something that you love to celebrate, and send a card out to all of your database. Anyway, so when you look at these different types of plans and connections, the possibilities here, we can talk to people in our database multiple times throughout the year and it not be overwhelming. So that's kind of the point. All right. Again, we need to talk about business planning. If you haven't created a business plan for 2022, you need to go ahead and start on it ASAP. So what it is a roadmap. Do we go on a trip without a roadmap? Do we go on a trip without making plans? No, but why do we run our business like that? So actually here at Realty One Group, we have a business planning session. It is the best that I've seen. Get in one of those sessions, talk to a BIC or one of us in leadership, and we can help you get set up with that. The other thing you want to do is when you plan your work is you want to make sure that you track your results. So for an agent who is growing their business, this is vital. Whether you're on a team, solo agent, tracking your results, it does two things. It gives you credibility among your peers, your brokerage, your team, and it also gives you motivation, okay? The biggest thing that helped me go from under 2 million to over 8 million in less than 2 years was tracking. It was an Excel spreadsheet that my team leader put in front of me and said, Tommy, I want you to look at this every week. Each month I'll come in and look at it with you. But it had the metrics that I needed. And once I started looking at those metrics, it motivated me. It's like, oh, if I talk to 2 more people a week, I can get another transaction or whatever. Depends on your conversion rate. But that was really eye-opening to me. And I'm not a big numbers guy, but I've become one because I see how it motivates. Not only that, it'll save you money. So let's move on to the 4 irrefutable laws of database. Of the database. So before I do though, are there any questions? I know I don't see any, but I just want to take a minute to ask. Okay. When we talk about these 4 laws, they are build it, feed it, nurture it, and maintain it. It's really that simple. But what does all that mean? So number one, when we're building our database, you're going to see this a lot with Realty One Group, the circles of opportunity. So as you can see, there are 3 rings and there are groupings of circles on those rings. What we teach is for agents to dominate their sphere of influence and work from the inside out. Who can tell me why we teach that? Why would you start from the inside out? Nobody want to take a chance? So why would we start with the sphere of influence? Because those are the people who know, love, and trust us, okay? Or at least have some familiarity with us. that is the place to start. That is the money pit, because you can start a relationship, convert and close a transaction or an opportunity faster through your sphere of influence. Okay, so what we're talking about here is your sphere of your past clients become your sphere of influence, your friends, your family, your colleagues, the people that you associate with every day. That's your sphere of influence. Now, moving out to the next circle are people that we're connected to, but we're not doing business yet. Okay, so that could be sports groups, church, neighbors, that person you met at the supermarket. There is some familiarity, but they don't know you're in the business yet. Okay, so what we need to do is let them know you're in the business. So that's why we have email campaigns. That's why we give out business cards. That's why we talk to people at socials and events. And then moving out that last circle, these are people that are not connected to us at all, but will in time based on building relationship. So how do we build that relationship? Well, we put up a website so people can know who we are and what we do. We pay for online ads, Facebook ads. We do retargeting. We do farming, whether it's geo farming or whatever. Those signs we put in the yard for listings, that is a calling card for people to do business with us. So if you can see the beauty in this, screenshot this image and just think about it. Who is your sphere of influence? At this point, if we were in class, we would do a little exercise, and I would have you take out a piece of paper and divide it into 3 categories. And the people that come to mind in your sphere of influence, I guarantee you in 15 minutes with you, I can have you write down at least 50 people in your sphere of influence. These are people you don't think about doing business with, but they're there. They should know you're in the business. If you haven't taken my Build Your Database Quickly class, I've got another cool name for it. Talk to me about it sometime. I just did a class, 3 weeks ago or something like that, but it's a really cool and fun way to make sure that you've got the right people in your database so you can start talking to them and building those relationships. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, so once we know the circles of opportunity, how we're going to go about business, right? Then we've got to categorize the people that we're going to do business with. So we want to separate the contacts by type so you can send different messages by group. Can someone tell me why you would want to send different messages to different groupings of people? No, nobody wants to take a stab at it?
Because you will know which one is going to be like a forever customer and which one is not ready, but maybe will refer you with somebody.
That's right. Thank you. So if you put, let's just call them labels for right now. If you put these little labels on your contacts, when you put them into your CRM, that CRM will hold that label. And when you come back to it to send the message or communicate with this person, it'll remind you how you need to be communicating. So for example, if you had somebody come on your database and they said, hey, I'd like to talk to you about buying a house, but I'm not going to buy a house for another year or 2. Well, you're going to, if you're categorizing ABC, A would be highest and C is lowest, you're going to put them in the C category. And you're going to be reminded, oh, they're not ready to buy yet. They need a while for whatever reason. So the messaging that you're going to send them is going to be a little different. It's not going to be as urgent. So somebody in a category A they want to buy a house now within the next 30 days, you're going to send them the urgent messages. you're going to send them things that get them off the fence now. That person that's going to buy a year from now, if you send them those messages, they're going to be confused because they're going to know, oh, I can't buy for another year, but you want me to do something now. And what they'll do is they'll either unsubscribe or they'll go to somebody else for a second opinion. So you want to make sure that you categorize your contacts accordingly, and it will help you build the campaigns, send the messages that relate to them and where they are currently. So when we're talking about organizing your database, again, the same thing, really separating your contacts by source so you can identify potential customers versus referral sources. So again, in your database, if you were to categorize somebody as A, B, or C, and then referred by XYZ, you want to do that because if an agent from another state sends you a referral, you want to make sure you keep that other agent in the loop. And also, other than giving them a referral check at the end, you want to thank them, and now you want to add them to your referral database for more business. Okay, you see, you're always massaging this database. You're always oiling the wheel, if that makes sense. So let's move on. So build the database, then we got to feed it. So how do we feed a database? Well, we got to add people, right? So what do we do to add people? Well, one of the best ways to add people is to talk to them. So you might say, well, I don't know what to say. New agents are all the time saying, well, I don't know what to say to somebody. I'm like, just simply tell them you're in the real estate business. So anyway, here's something, we call it the 1-minute script. And this is just an example. You can screenshot this or rewrite it in your own language, make it sound like it's from you, but it goes like this. Hello, my name is Tommy. From time to time, I run across useful updates about the Charlotte area real estate market. I'm happy to send them to you. Is email or snail mail better for you? I replace snail with text. Nobody does snail mail anymore. I need to change that on the slide, but is email or text better for you? So, and it depends on that last line. If I'm texting it, I'm either going to text it or email it to them, or I'm going to be talking to them, right? Face to face. So rewrite this based on how you're going to use it. But the point is to come up with a 1-minute script. And really, this is less than a minute. I mean, this is less than 30 seconds, but at least you know what to say, okay? And when you know what to say, you got to be able to back it up. So if you say, I run across useful updates and I will send them to you, then you got to think about, what does that look like? What am I going to send them? Am I going to send them a market alert, a neighborhood alert, or a listing alert, whatever you want to call it? Or am I going to put them on my email newsletter with that information that goes out every month or twice a month? So whatever you tell them, make sure you follow it up. But have something to say when you meet people. And the other thing you want to keep in mind is you want to ask for their contact information rather than just giving them yours. Do you know why we want to do that? I can tell you, I missed a lot of opportunity just by giving my information out and not collecting the other one. The last one I remember was an open house me and another agent hosted, and a couple came through. They were new to town. He was going to be the new manager of a big retail store in the area, and I gave them my card, and we ran out, closed the open house, and then later they never called me, and I remembered I didn't get their information. So I believe if I had followed up with them, I might have had a good shot at getting them as clients. So anyway, just remember to get their contact information. All right, the third rule is nurturing your database. So as I said in the beginning, these are very This is very intro material. This is kind of the 30,000-foot view. The details will come later, but remember these 3 areas. You want to have a consistent message. You want to be consistent in everything with what you say. You don't want to confuse people. Sometimes I look at an agent's website and I don't know if they're in the lending business or the real estate business, and that's sad. Sometimes I'll look at a home inspector's site and I can't tell exactly what it is they're selling. So make sure that your message is consistent, how you help people, and make sure that message is branded to you, branded to our firm. Use the power of the brokerage that we're with. We're not just nationwide, but we're going around the world now. We're in several countries, and we'll soon double that. And that's another conversation. Hold on a second. I'm trying to make sure my computer's still plugged up. Okay. And then you want to make sure you are making personal connections. Okay. You can have 5,000 names in your database, but if you're not making the connections with them, you're not going to get the business. So this is really the key. Lots of people can gather names and make lists, but not many people know how to nurture and build based on personal influence, personal connection. So make sure you use a systematic approach, which allows for your contacts to become automatically seasoned without being overwhelmed. And that's why we want to use technology, something like a CRM, to help us track that, to make sure that we're consistently giving the message, that it's always branded, and those messages are personal. Again, when nurturing your database, one way, and this is huge, I highly recommend this, is an introduction or announcement letter. Let me give you some ideas on this. Is everybody still with me? Can everybody still hear me? Y'all are really quiet. Somebody chat me or unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right. So I know there's 4 of us here, I believe. Okay, all right. Hey, Yumina. All right. So the introduction letter. So if you're new to real estate, you need to send this letter out. If you've just changed firms, you need to send this a letter out or announcement. If you are trying to niche in a different market, you need to send an announcement letter out. So what this is basically an opportunity for you to capitalize on, to send an urgent, well, it doesn't have to be urgent, but to send a message out to everybody in your database, basically giving them an update on who you are and what you do. So if you send out an announcement, whether it's a Facebook post or a mass email or whatever, that, hey, I just joined Realty One Group Revolution, and my goal this year is to work with 50 outstanding clients just like you, however you want to say it. Nobody's going to delete that. They're going like, oh, that's great. Okay. So that's a great way to put your name out there, kind of in a blanket way. And then you can follow up with that and give them updates on how your business is going. Now you want to make sure it's not about you. How can you deliver them value? Well, because I do this, I can give you XYZ. You want to think in those terms. So think about an announcement letter. And this is something everybody can do, whether it's an announcement letter, an email, a postcard, a handwritten note, or a phone call. Right now, you can think about something new that you're leveraging in your business to give you an opportunity to send this letter out, this email out, this postcard out. Does that make sense? These are the things I'm talking about. if you'll look, there are some agents that are mastering, like community groups on Facebook or Instagram, and they'll leverage something like the weather, a natural disaster, what happened to a realtor in another area, or the birth of a child, a wedding. They're capitalizing on these different things that people experience in life so that people can associate them with something positive. So again, think in those terms when you're building your business. All right. When we're nurturing our database, you want to think about a social media plan. Okay. And again, this is a very high overview. This is very basic. So specifically, to gain some traction with social media, here's what you want to make sure. That you have 3 comments daily, 3 likes daily, and 1 post per week. That's very minimum. That's very doable. If you log on to social media, it wouldn't take you 5 minutes a day to do this, but it keeps you top of mind. Okay. So what are some examples? Can somebody give me an example of what you could post to stay top of mind? So those things I mentioned earlier about staying top of mind, something humorous, something that your family experiences, which makes you a real person and not just a business person, something of value that you can share, like on your Facebook business page. You could share that, hey, mortgage rates are on the rise. You might want to take advantage of the low rates right now, because and show them the article from whoever. It's those kinds of things. And by the way, right now, still the best social media for building a real estate business is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And I would say there's a big rise in using TikTok. So I don't, whether you like TikTok or not, that's a personal thing. But anyway, I would stick right now, I would say Facebook, Instagram, and gosh, I'm losing my train of thought. Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn are still the 3 big business sales social media outlets. All right. All right, and maintaining your database. So this is something I want to put out there because a lot of agents think they have to work with everybody. Look, you're a 1099. You're a sole proprietor or an S Corp, LLC, whatever. You run your own business. At Realty One Group Revolution, we advise you, we give you resources and support, but it's your business. You decide who you work with. When you're building your database, if there's a certain type of person you don't want to work with, you don't have to put them in your database. Okay. And for example, I will tell you this. There are people out there that are just difficult to work with. You can pass those on to somebody else as a referral, or you can tell them, I'm sorry, I'm not the agent you should be working with. And it's okay to do that. So don't think you have to work with everybody. So D is for delete. Very seldom do you hear us talking about deleting somebody from your database, but there are some cases where there's some people you just shouldn't be talking to, and you don't want to hear what they have to say to you because it's not nice. It's not positive. There's that person who rants on your Facebook page all the time. Delete them. Don't leave them on there. So eliminate the negative, angry, and unhappy people in your life. Now, if it's your family, your close friends, I'm not saying delete them. You're going to have to find out a way to work with them and love them in spite of that, but you don't have to do business with them. So make sure you focus on the positive, make sure you have happy people in your life, and that in itself will help grow your business. All right, something I want to share some stats with you these are pretty eye-opening. So let me, all right. So if you'll look at the top of the image that I have the stats, not sure how well you can see it, whether you're looking on your phone or your laptop, but the top left says 48% are salespeople who never follow up with a prospect. Okay. That's including us real estate agents. 48% of us never follow up with a prospect. That's sad. However, 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. So 25% of us make the second call or text or touch, and then we don't do anything else. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. So we don't have a lot of perseverance in this business, right? You see salespeople, we just want the one and done. Let me get to that quick one. Let's go down to the next row. It says 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. Sorry, there's a typo there. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So think about it. If you're that person who thinks that first time you talk to somebody is supposed to be the win-win-win, only 2% of contact or of sales are made the first time. Okay. So give yourself a break. You're not always going to win them on the first time. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. Now let's go down to the last line and look at this. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. Now look at this one. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So this is the opportunity for you to unmute and somebody tell me what's the aha here from this slide. Nobody's going to give it a stab. All right, here's the aha for you. Whatever lead generation method you have, whatever messaging campaigns you have, drip campaigns, whatever, you need to make sure that they're going to carry you through at least 12 contacts. Okay. You want to make sure you talk to this person long enough with value to get them off the hook, off the fence. Okay. So if you're just going to go and talk to or try to contact somebody 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, you're not going to get the business. It's when you contact them 5 to 12 times that you're getting the business. So make sure you're persistent. Don't stop making the calls. Now, if somebody tells you, take me off your email list, or they unsubscribe, then you don't want to bother them. But I've heard a lot of great agents say, my goal is to get people to unsubscribe, because they're either going to unsubscribe or they're going to do business with you. Okay. So be persistent. Think about this when you're talking to people. It's not always going to happen on the first time. I know some of you are really great, but give yourselves a break and keep talking to people. The business will come. All right. When it comes to lead conversion, you want to do 3 things. You want to identify their wants and needs. You want to use a consultative approach. Okay. You're consulting them. You're not lecturing them. And then you want to listen. The biggest way we lose clients is they say, we don't listen to them. We send them information they don't want, and they move on to somebody else. Let me give you, let's see, hold on, I got a note here for you. I'm trying to pull it up. My computer is not working with me. All right, I'm just going to skip it for now. Maybe I'll think about it later. All right, when it comes to closing leads, 3 things you want to remember. Constant communication. I can't tell you how many agents, they get to the point where they have somebody under contract and then they stop talking to them. That's bad business. What's going to happen is they're going to think you don't care. Oh, they just wanted to get me under contract. They just want to get that paycheck. And if you don't communicate constantly, you're going to miss something and you're not going to close the deal. Okay. So constant communication. You need to, even if things are going well, I'm on the phone once a week minimum with somebody I'm under contract with. It's usually more than that, but at least once a week. If they don't like phone calls, I'm texting or emailing them. Okay. Even if you have nothing to say, you can say this: hey, nothing new to report, but just wanted to let you know that I'm behind the scenes here navigating this transaction. You want to keep your clients in the know. As long as they have information, they're going to be happy. At the point in which they stop getting good information from you is when they're going to start getting upset. Okay. You think about it. You've been in that boat when you've been on the end of a sales deal. Maybe it's buying your property or a car or whatever. But when we're ill-informed, misinformed, or not informed, is when we're unhappiest. Okay, even if there's no new information to report something. All right, when we talk about servicing the lead, every closed transaction is a tremendous opportunity for future referrals as long as you stay in touch with them. Did you get what I just said? Every transaction that you close is a great opportunity for future referrals if you stay in touch with them. The point is, us real estate agents, we move on to the next person. We're busy, managing those under contracts, right? And we forget to reach out to people we just closed. Check in on them. Set up your drip system, your campaigns to follow up the next day, a week after, a month after, 6 months after, a year after. Ask them how that new construction home is going. One reason why we don't reach out is we're afraid they're going to come back with a problem. You know what? That's great, because we're the problem solvers. Ask them what their problem is so you can help them solve it. 9 times out of 10, all you have to do is give them a phone number or an email, because they usually don't know who to get in touch with. Okay. Easy. That's easy business. Let's kind of migrate over to creating your online presence. So what is an online presence? Is it just having a pretty picture up with a lot of color? It's really your visibility. How are people seeing you online? Okay. Or are they seeing you at all? And I will go ahead and say this: if you're in the real estate business and you don't have an online presence, you don't have a business. Okay. In that person's mind, your business does not exist. You have a hobby, and that's how they're going to respond to you. You need to have a professional online presence. That's why we give everybody a free website. Okay. That's the one place you can send people to show them what you do. So your ability for your prospects, potential clients, whatever you want to call them, to find you is really important. Now, there are some agents that use a social media channel, and that's where they send everybody. I don't care. Linktree, whatever you want to use that works for you, use it, but make sure you have a presence. Use different formats. So you might want to have a website as well as a social media page. You might want to have a YouTube page. But what I'll tell you this is, don't get overwhelmed thinking you have to have 2 or 3, 4 things. Start with one, make sure you master it, and then go to the second media or whatever. But make sure you're online and doing it well, then you can duplicate that. I already answered this question. If you don't have an online presence, your business doesn't exist. All right, social media platforms. Again, we've already talked about this. This number probably needs to be updated. There are more than 1.5 billion users on Facebook and Instagram. You need to use the simple weekly 3 CLP plan: comments, likes, posts. That'll get you leverage in your social media business. And then you need to create a time block in your schedule and treat it as a task. We didn't say much about time blocking here, that comes later, but we have this saying that if it's not on your calendar, it's not going to happen, right? So you need to think about your business in stages throughout the day. What is it that you do first, second, third? Put that in your calendar. Like first morning routine should be in your calendar. Start the day, check emails, new business, whatever it is. Time, you need a time block lead generation time. You need a time block showing time. Those are things you need to do. So set yourself up for success and time block your business. All right, let's talk about online leads for a minute. There are lots of platforms out there. My words of wisdom are, if you're a new agent, stay away from the paid upfront lead generation platforms. They're going to suck you dry. Use something like OpCity that we provide as a brokerage where you pay on the back end. Okay. That way you're getting the business, you're getting the paycheck, and then you're just giving up a little bit of your paycheck. For me, let me see, I started real estate in 2006. It was 2012 before I started Zillow Leads. Zillow Leads helped me build my business. I closed 17 Zillow deals a year for 2 to 3 years. It was a lot of work and they cost a lot per lead, but it did help me grow my business. If I would have done that in my first couple of years, I would have gone broke because it was very expensive. So give yourself an opportunity to get that learning curve past you. You can partner with another agent or a group of agents to share leads. You can get leads from the brokerage. You can partner with another agent to help work their sphere of influence. There are a lot of different ways that you can navigate instead of having to do just online leads. If you're going to do online leads, make sure that you know this is a long-term game and you got to be consistent. You got to answer the phone really fast. What made me really good with Zillow was I was answering the phone under 5 minutes. I was giving them something by email within the next 10 minutes, or I was out at a showing within the hour. Okay. That's how I scaled the online leads. So results are going to be different depending on the market and the platform that you're using. And that brings us to the end of our Rev Up session. And we always talk about the one habit. Does anyone want to unmute and tell us what the one habit is? Wow, y'all are really quiet group today. I'm not used to that. Okay, let me give you the one habit. So the one habit is this. And look, this is, again, this is a very minimal. I expect more out of you guys because you guys are knocking it out of the park. But at a minimum, if you will make 3 calls a day for business, you will grow your database. Okay. So if you make 3 calls, add those 3 people to your database, and then write 6 handwritten note cards. 3 note cards to the 3 people you just added to your database, and then 3 note cards to 3 people that are already in your database you need to follow up with. Think about this. If you add 3 people a day, 5 days a week, that's 15 people a week times 4. That's 60 people a month to your database. 60 times 12. That's just under 1,000 new people in your database for the year. And all you did was take 5 minutes to make 3 calls. Okay. So this is a very simplistic way to build your database and close more deals. All right. I'm going to stop my screen share. Does anybody have any questions for me? This was a quick and easy, more of an overview, kind of this is what you need to do to set yourself up for success. If you have any questions, please text me or email me, let me know. If you would like the deliverables, the worksheets that go along with this, this lesson, just throw me a yes in the chat and I'll email them to you. And Andrea, just can you make sure you text me your email just to make sure I have the right one? Andrea, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Brian, thanks for being on. Yamina, thanks for being on. And we'll be back next Monday at 9 a.m.
Sounds good. Later, guys.
All right. See you guys.